Welcome to WLNM, the web novel and manga review, hosted by Zeke Changuris.
Welcome to WLNM, the web light novel and manga review, the podcast dedicated to bringing listeners the artists, writers, creatives, and industry professionals that are part of this wonderful time in anime and manga. They bring us all so much joy and entertainment, and one of those authors is HatsuSaru, the author of the original English light novel, I Became a Girl to Win the Tournament, Volumes 1 and now 2. Welcome back. So how's it going? How did the writing process go for you?
Thank you very much for having me on once again. So I think that's a win for wanting to have me back. you tolerated me the first time, and here I am again.
So yeah, hey, any time. So let's, for those who may not have heard the first podcast, I Became a Girl to Win the Tournament. Let's just give us a brief plot sketch there to catch anybody up so they have an idea of what we're talking about.
Yeah, sure. The overarching story of this series centers around a otaku NEET, and his name is Reiji Arai. And he ends up finding one day that he and his roommate, who is his childhood friend named Saiki Yamada, he and she they both wake up in an alternate world, an alternate version of Germany. And they were taken there by a omnipotent being who basically just got bored and wanted some entertainment. So,
not named Haru, right?
No. This omniscient being gets the name of it's given the name of A, because there is another, and it's given the name of B.
Okay,
and,
all right.
You actually get to find out why A and B actually during the novel, so they do have meanings. So,
okay.
but yeah, so Reiji is brought there, and he is presented with an option of either entering a professional wrestling tournament, because professional wrestling is huge in this world. And if he wins, he has the choice of going back home or living a life of luxury and riches, staying in that world. He opts to stay in the world. So he has to start training for this tournament and everything, but it's not explained until after he makes his decision that the world is made up predominantly of women. So men only make up 3% of the population, and basically are treated basically less than human. And this wrestling tournament is for women only. So okay. He's kind of faced with that dilemma, having to hide his, gender and all of that.
All right. So, other than maybe he wants women to step on him,
he is a bit of a pervert.
Where are we going in volume 2? Is this more like is this Rocky versus Mr. T, or is this is this Rip 'em with Hulk Hogan?
Volume 2 picks up just 11 days after volume 1 ends. So he's still learning the ropes, I guess you could say literally and figuratively.
Okay.
So he's still learning, his way around the ring and all of that. And he's developed in volume 1. He kind of developed a friendship with a group of ladies that are already in the academy where he's studying, and their relationships just kind of growing in volume 2, although there is some conflict. So I don't want to give too much away. Yeah. But there is also those that are not very welcoming to the newcomers joining the school. Of course, it's not known that he is male, obviously.
Yes.
So he
He's
has that to worry about as
he's
well, keeping that a secret.
he's very good with the tuck.
Yeah, it's mentioned a few times that he's had some help from, on making sure that things are not seen. But there is a antagonist that was briefly introduced in volume 1 that plays a much larger role in volume 2.
Okay. Hey, when in doubt, he could always claim he's a hyena, since since female hyenas have one.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. A little bit of trivia for everybody listening if you're not
Yes.
familiar with animal biology.
And you learn a lot of that in Seton Academy. Join the pack. That's spectacularly crazy anime. But so is going about writing a second volume or a sequel, a, do you find that easier now that you have like the rules set for the universe, or is it harder because you're like, okay, let's squeeze some more out of this, out of, this, I'm trying to, my brain is a sponge, so let's just see how much we can squeeze out of it.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, I'm going to say that in terms of the actually the storytelling part of it, actually writing things down, that was a lot easier because, I knew where it was going. I had more of a, like you said, a knowledge of the universe, and it felt like I knew the characters a lot more. I knew the points, that obviously I needed to hit. I'm a pantser, so I just kind of had like a rough idea of where it was going, and it just kind of naturally went there. So I found the actual writing process to be a lot easier than the first volume. There was one chapter where I stumbled quite a bit, just because I didn't know exactly what to do with it. That was actually a chapter where the main character goes on a date. I didn't know what to do with writing a date. But the actual process of myself finding time to write it was, I mean, that was where it was difficult because there was just so much going on in my personal life.
So when you are um, when you're writing these scenes, and since it does have to do with professional wrestling,
Hmm.
have you, I mean, are you have you become, or were you a adamant consumer of the medium to begin with? I'm currently living in Tampa Bay, which seems to be the capital of the WWE right now. So because we got, Hulk Hogan lives here, Titus O'Neil lives here,
Hmm.
a whole bunch of other guys live down here. So what 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 kind of, and I'm using air quotes, research have
Hmm.
you been doing? Going back to the 1984 SummerSlam or something like that?
Well, I mean, I've always, I mean, ever since I was a little kid, I mean, I've always been a fan of wrestling, um, and I am going to date myself here. So I started watching wrestling back in the early '80s. So I'm not any spring chicken. Um, but and it's stuck with me through my entire life. I just I just love wrestling. It's a soap opera for guys.
Yes, yes.
Um, I've fallen out of it in recent years just because it's my viewpoint is that it's changed from wrestling to acrobatics. I mean, it looks great and all, but it's not the stuff that I grew up with. So I turned around, and what I ended up doing is making the main character a fan of the old school wrestling style, so that
Okay.
that way that's something that I could, bring into the something that I'm familiar with. It made it a lot easier to write. I do have a wealth of research that I have to refer back to, though, because I mean, there's stuff that I don't remember the names of, and how things actually work. Because what I try to do in the story is, I know that there are folks that who are not familiar with wrestling who might be reading, and I hope so. But what I try to do is explain like how a move is done prior to, as well as giving the name of that move, so that that way I don't have to be, descriptive of what it is later on. I
Right,
can just
right.
name it. So
So what is, I had a friend of mine I used to work with, and we used to talk about our memories from
Hmm.
watching wrestling, especially as kids. So, which is your biggest wrestling memory from those early days?
Oh gosh, if you want to talk about early days, Hogan slamming Andre the Giant.
That's what it always seems to go to. Really,
That was
that
just awesome. That was just
I
awesome.
mean, 32-inch biceps lifting up Andre the Giant, who was, you know, let's see, he was probably, several 100 pounds. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, that is one of those. I think that was like WrestleMania 3. To talk
Yeah,
about how
I can't
old
remember.
that is.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't remember which one. Yeah, it was awesome though. But I mean, for me, when I was little, it's like it hurt when Andre turned into a heel when he became
yeah.
a bad guy. And I was like, no.
My
But
great my great grandmother used to love watching wrestling,
mhm,
and
mhm.
that was like in the late 70s. Uh, I mean, one of the things that you can remember is just like she had like a cackly kind of laugh.
Uh-huh.
He just would, yeah. You had what Gorgeous George characters like
Mhm.
that, and she would just be laughing her ass off watching
Yeah, I
those
grew up.
guys.
I remember watching the Von Erichs,
Okay,
so the and like Gino Hernandez and Chris Adams, and those were like a Southern based. They worked back when there were still territories,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so they were down south.
yeah. You had
So
like the AWA. You had
hmm,
the WWF. Let's see who else was out there.
NWA.
Yeah, and not the Ice T version.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole different NWA, which confused me growing up.
Hmm.
That really did confuse me. Yeah. So, but it's yeah, they as a kid uh, watching guys like Jimmy uh, Superfly Snuka,
Oh gosh.
yeah, him, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Ric Flair,
Hmm. Hmm.
all oh Tito Santana,
Oh, Tito Santana was actually one of my favorites.
yeah, and you're like these characters. You wonder in some cases, could they do that now? What if?
Oh my gosh, some of these guys, I mean, they just keep on going,
Yeah,
and they go into like their 60s, and it's just their bodies just have to be shot.
yes. Oh my God, I can't imagine
Yeah,
what.
you.
Well, Andre the Giant. I mean, he had severe arthritis.
Yeah.
Um, I know that in his later days, he would when he retired to the village that he grew up in France.
Hmm.
And, his big thing was he'd get up in the morning, go down to the tavern, sit with his friends, play cards all
Hmm.
day. And like the legends are like he could drink an entire case of wine.
Yeah.
Uh,
Have you ever seen the pictures of him like holding a beer?
well, I saw pictures of him holding playing cards.
Yeah.
Just imagine how small those looked in his hands.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw a photo of him holding a beer, though, I was like, "Oh my gosh, it looks like he like found that in like Gulliver's Travels or something."
Lilliputian
Yeah,
IPA.
Lilliputian ale.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because you got had guys, Honky Tonk Man or
Mm.
Randy, the Macho Man Savage.
Oh, Randy Savage was great. I loved
Let's
Randy
let's
Savage.
let's snap into a Slim Jim. And but um, what's his name? Governor of Minnesota, um,
Oh, Jesse Ventura.
Jesse Ventura. You
My
know,
my favorite was always Roddy Piper, though.
oh, from the Piper's Pit. Yes,
Yes, Roddy Piper was my favorite. He knew how to do a promo. He could just, I mean, he was just so entertaining.
and that's and I think the Piper's Pit is really what, in a lot of ways, set up the way modern wrestling is.
Hmm.
You really had that side stage show,
Hmm. Hmm.
which it was a great way of one. It's the three ring circus. Why did P.T. Barnum invent a three ring circus? It was because the um, remember his original circus was located Madison Square Garden, in the
Mm,
original Madison Square Garden. So how do you get people to come back again and again and again, which is what you need in order to make money if your circus is in the same place?
mm-hmm.
You have three rings because you're always going to be focused on one of those rings and missing what's going on in the other act.
Ah.
That's what the Piper's Pit was. It was adding another ring to the circus.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so it just added to um, added to the atmosphere. It added to what people could offer and expanded their base. It was a great idea. And
Yeah. Well, and you still have that. I mean, even to this day, I mean, you've got shows where basically they do like skits where they're having a interview talk show or whatever it is, like in the middle of the ring.
yeah,
So yeah, that influence has stuck around.
that's it. So now, are you using like the terminology like arm bar or flying forearm or things like that would be easy for us to interpret as to what's going on when he's performing his moves?
Yeah, actually. Like I said, it's initially when I first introduced like a move or a hold, I'll, try and explain, what it is. And then give that actual move or hold a name, the real
Yeah.
name. So that way I can just use that going forward. Not something as simple as, like I said, an arm bar or, a clothesline or
Have you
something like
used the
that.
figure four leg lock? I used to
Actually,
practice.
that has been used.
I remember practicing using that on my brother.
It actually hurts.
It does. It hurts like hell. Especially got skinny knees, skinny shins, Not a
I've
whole
had
lot
it
of
used on. I've had it used on me. It freaking hurts.
so what is there? I mean, you seem to. I know for a lot of writers, especially in the OELN genre, this is not our primary job. We have other things that we need to do. So, finding
Mm,
that time to write is difficult. So,
yeah.
where are you finding that time? I mean, because it's really hard to. I mean, I get home
Hmm.
and my wife will attest. I will fall asleep sitting up.
Hmm.
I mean, I will put on an anime to watch to decompress after work,
Hmm.
but there are times where I've fallen asleep sitting up on the couch. So where are you finding that energy and that drive to get stuff out there, especially since you do have a rather complicated day job?
I actually, I'm more of a morning person.
Okay.
So I didn't used to be. I don't know where that came from now, but I'm a morning person. So I actually wake up early and I give myself about 2 hours in the morning. So now I get a lot of writing done in the morning. That's when I feel like I'm the most creative. Now, when I do call it quits from my day job for the day, I also try and set about an hour or so in the evening to be able to sit down. That doesn't always happen, obviously, so because of other life commitments and my recent discovery of VTubers, that seems to eat up a lot of my time now.
Are you looking at a cat shark?
I love Gura. My favorites right now though are Krone and Botan.
Okay. Yeah. See, I'm still trying to understand the VTuber thing. So uh, help enlighten me. What am I what am I watching?
Um,
Because I really tried. I mean, I've watched
Shut up.
like tuned in to like what Hollow Live or whatever
Mhm.
one of the larger productions is, and I'm still not sure what I'm watching.
You're watching cute anime girls play games and talk crap.
Okay, all right. As long as my interpretation is correct, okay. Yes, all right. There you go.
But actually, I mean, I will say that all of them are really talented in something, some way or another. For instance, our little cat shark. Um, she's actually a really talented singer. So if you ever tune into any of her um, singing streams, so you'll find that she's really talented. And there actually are a lot of them that are very talented singers. Callie, she's put out some rap EPs, and she's really great. And then there are some that are not so talented singers, but they try really hard. It's really entertaining.
Well, I mean, I think that the first, I guess the proto VTubers, 22/7, they used to do basically like live capture, because you had the actual members of the group and then their
Mm,
personas, and they would do like live, I guess it would be now VTuber stuff, where you would
mm,
see their characters interacting in a space,
mm,
and it would be live reading of skits and things like that for 22/7.
mm.
So I guess
I'm
that's
not
like the
familiar. I'm not familiar with it.
they
With 20.
they're a pop idol group, but
Uh-huh.
what was done was it was all part of a plan. They're like, we first released the VTubers, and then we released the music, and then we had the group go on tour, and then
Mm,
then they got an anime, and
mm,
which was actually really good. I got really obsessed with it. But it was a very interesting, like a thought out, very methodical. This is how we're going to make success, is we're going to take things step by step.
mm,
One of the standouts, her name is Sally Amaki.
mm,
She's a American Japanese gal, and she's a stitch. She's funny as hell.
mm, mm.
Yeah, which she kind of stands out for that, because she understands American sense of humor as much as a Japanese sense of humor, and so I guess that's why she stands out so much, because the viewing audience isn't exclusively Japanese. But
You said 22/7.
yep, 22/7,
Okay.
22/7.
All right. I'm going to be doing some googling after this.
Yeah, there. Hey, and the anime was really interesting. A very different idol anime, because it was
Mm,
not. It was had a big mystery part to it, and yeah,
hmm.
just
I'm going to have to check
fascinating for
that
me.
out.
Yeah,
So.
I interviewed three of the girls one year
Uh-huh.
at CRX in California, and that was really cool. They were idols are idols, and I love interviewing them because they're all just so damn adorable.
And now though, I mean, yeah, it went from like the cute, adorable, innocent idols, and now it's like they're on the internet drinking and cursing.
I guess that's how it works sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
They're just like us.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes them what's helped them, become so popular, is because people are able to better identify with them because they are like us.
And they're not there's many things about idol culture in Japan that I don't understand. Like, idols shouldn't date people because they need
Hmm.
to be there as like an ideal for their fans.
Yep.
Like, that just seems weird to me. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's
But yet the fans will ship the idols
yeah.
together.
Yes. Oh, well, they ship everything.
Yeah, I know.
The fans ship everything. I mean, there's yeah, there's some very strange ships out there, and for yeah, in otaku land, and
Mhm.
you're just like, okay, like, what kind of ship involved it created a cat shark?
Dude,
So
it's Rule 34.
yeah.
I'm surprised that nobody's like, got a Gouda and shipped with a slab of tofu. I mean, now that'll probably happen.
Yes,
I
exactly.
want to see I want to see the fan art.
What were they? I was just watching. I love reading the comments on Crunchyroll for shows I watch,
Hmm.
and I've been killing slimes for the last 300 years and maxed out my level. In the latest episode, they're like, someone was commenting, so have they have they made hentai art of this yet? No? Well, then get on that shit because this.
That person probably didn't Google deep enough yet.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess there's like so much anime that I need to catch up on.
Oh, there's some fun ones out there. If you want hardcore sci-fi, watch or read 86.
I've read the first volume and I loved it. And I've watched I think like the first 3 episodes.
The animation is superb in that one.
Yeah.
The book is good, but I really have liked the anime a lot because it's just sometimes it's easier to see than it is for descriptions.
And plus, I mean, like mechs just look awesome.
They look cooler when you as a
when you see them
visual, than describing how a mech works.
Yeah. 86 is one of them that I really want to watch because, like I said, I loved the light novel, but I've only had the chance to read the first volume.
Yeah, find some time. It is really spectacular. Getting back to a little bit of writing. I know where my question was going when I was asking about finding time to write.
Okay.
Do you have how many other ideas? I mean, are you one of those people who is singularly focused, or are you getting like, do you have like, all right, I've got like a drawer full of plot summaries for like 6 other stories, but I'm just going to stay focused on the one I'm going on?
I actually started, I wrote a rough draft of like the first chapter of a horror story, I guess. I don't know if anything is going to happen with it. I just had this, idea floating around my head and it just wouldn't go away. So I said, I'll just go ahead and sit down and just type it out. Maybe that'll, help. And so I did that. And like I said, it's just a rough draft. So I haven't done anything with it. I don't know if I will. But I mean, that is still kind of floating around in the back of my head.
Is horror a new genre for you? Is it something that you've never attempted it?
No, I've never done it. So
yeah,
I love horror movies and books, but I've just never tried writing one myself.
I don't know if I would even be comfortable attempting horror, just because it's not a personality trait or a genre that I typically spend time in. And it seems like you either do it really good, or it's really, really bad. I mean, and at least with films, you can get into that genre of it's so freaking bad. It's absolutely amazing. But if you're just mediocre, it's like, there's a lot of meh out there for horror films. But you've either got to hit the ball out of the park or like foul it like out of the park into a guy's car.
and that's also another reason why I'm not sure if anything will ever happen to it. I mean, it might just be like a personal project.
When do your ideas come to you? When are your ideas mainly hitting you?
Honestly, usually when I'm walking my dog.
Okay.
So that gives me a lot of just alone time. Well, I mean, besides being with her.
Yeah.
But and I just when I'm walking my dog, and it's like I just start thinking to myself, I probably should be paying more attention to where I'm going.
Yeah.
But that's when I get lost in a lot of thought.
Yeah. For some of us, I know we have a waterproof notepad that sits in the shower. Because somebody in this relationship tends to write notes while she's taking a shower, because she's like, if I wait until I get out, I'll forget. So there's a water resistant notepad in the shower.
I use the voice memo feature on my phone a lot.
Yeah.
So just because I know that by the time that I get home from walking my dog, I'm not going to remember what I was thinking. So my phone is just full of voice memos.
Yeah, I definitely feel that one. I'm big at using. I have Google Docs as kind of like my note keeper, because
Hmm.
I'll
Hmm.
at work I'll open up a Google Doc and be like, all right, this paragraph seems pretty cool.
Hmm.
This way I won't lose it, because it will forever be between that and emailing stuff to myself.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because I know if I open it, I'll remember.
Yeah, I use OneNote for a lot of jotting down ideas if I actually have my computer handy. So um, I'll pull out OneNote and write something down really quick, and so that way I can access it on any of my machines.
Ah, very Microsofty of you.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm in that Microsoft
Don't
universe.
worry, I I am I was just certified in Microsoft techno technical assistant or something like that. MTA Windows. I got a certification in that thing for so I can teach kids how to use Windows 10 next year.
So I'll be calling you for my Windows
Des-
tech support.
for your desktop support, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on which version you've got, and whether you can remote in and all this other stuff. So I'm just like, oh God, I don't want kids remoting into anything. Um, so um, before we go, what is volume 2 out currently, or are we still waiting?
No, volume two is out.
Okay,
So you can get it on Amazon for Kindle paperback, and it's also on Kindle Unlimited.
okay.
And then you can also get it on paperback through Barnes and Noble as well.
Oh, that's great. Expanding your resources, because I know some people have had been having issues with Amazon recently.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I know that there are folks that prefer to stay away from Amazon, so that's why I made sure that to have it available through Barnes and Noble as well, not through on the Nook on just
yeah,
yet, not
okay,
just yet. So I do plan on making Volume One available on the Nook within a few months, though.
okay. So one final question: should we expect a cage match?
Oh yeah,
Okay, just
oh
checking.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Actually, I mean, it's not going to be a cage match in Volume Three, but there's going to be some pretty hardcore one coming up.
okay, let's just make. But remember, this is wrestling, not Running Man.
Yeah.
You know.
If you check out Volume Two, you'll know what you can look forward to in the match coming up in Volume Three.
Okay. All right. And yeah, because remember, it may have involved Jesse Ventura in Running Man, Running Man, but it was not wrestling. All right. I want to thank you.
Those one-liners.
Oh yeah, I want to thank you again for coming back on with me. It's always a pleasure to talk with you.
No,
And
thank you for having me. I
yeah,
really do appreciate it.
yeah, no problem. And if you like what we've been talking about and would like to support the channel, please click the subscribe button, and we will continue to bring you uh, everything from translators to writers to uh, industry professionals. Whenever we get the chance, we come out every 2 weeks, and the summer's coming up, and so I'm going to be doing a whole lot more interviews. So we'll have plenty for the rest of the year. Um, if you want to follow Hatsu, it's at HatsuSaru on Twitter. And if you want to follow me or you want to contact me about being a guest on the program, just look for at Zeke Changuris. All right. Let's see. We're subscribing. We're keeping the channel going. We're talking to a lot of people. And I hope we're entertaining and informing you. Until next time, keep reading.
This has been a WLNM podcast.